Hi, folks. Nick Talkert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into it, I do need to pay some bills, so please bear with me. The Historical Fencing Guild is made possible in part by our good friends over at the Independent Creator Directory. That's IndieCD.org. Your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. We are also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of our ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals designed to help you go from having never handled the sword to teaching the art to others. But most importantly, scrolling at the bottom of my screen are a series of people who have volunteered their money, their time, their support to make what we do possible. Now, I can't do it without Patreon supporters. I can't afford to buy the gear to review, to outfit people, and I will be outfitting people again in the very near future. So after the calamity that happened next door is fully cleaned up and the damage that came across my yard is addressed, we should be able to have practices. I am very excited. In that vein, as you guys know, we're going to get into a discussion that will be followed up later by a proper review. And I am very excited. Back a week ago, I ordered these wonderful, hold on, I don't need Rufus AI. These wonderful trainers. And they are 2 for $40 plus $15 shipping and handling. So that makes it $55. Now, those of you who know me know I've spent a lot of time attempting to find sub $50 trainers that are valid and effective. It's been sort of one of my white whales, something I've been trying to do as a way to facilitate the arming of more people. Well, I didn't expect them for another week, but believe it or not, they came in. And I got 2 of these. These are polypropylene. So I am showing the back. I want you to see the cross section. It is actually a blade-like cross section, very saber-like, where I'm trying to get an angle where you can see. You have a wider spine, narrower blade. It actually has a slight angle to give a rather precise blade. The flexibility is superb. The resilience is beautiful. I'm going to have to see, so I'm going to have to spend some time fighting with them. But they came in yesterday, and both my wife and I got to play with them. They're 38 inches overall, which gives you a nice, roughly 34-inch blade. Longtime viewers will know that my original rapier had a 34-inch slogger blade. They are, again, made out of polypropylene, so they are very difficult to damage or destroy, and much more tolerant of the elements. I, of course, will be likely modifying them somewhat, either with tape or something to make them a little easier to see. But this is very important because this means 2 people can pitch in about 50 some odd bucks, and for $25 a piece, roughly, get one of these. I may do orders and see if I can get a bulk discount, because I think I may have to work my way towards having 10. Because as much as I prefer the rapier style cup hilt, these are just amazing weapons. And at the price, if they stay at this price point, I cannot overexpress how awesome that is. Now, the reason for this is more than just, oh, look, it's a trainer. Because, oh, look, it's a trainer. You guys have seen me with others. Where is my... there it is. One moment. I have to grab something. Yes, I match. Yes, I look like a highlighter blew up on me. I enjoy and always suggest training with something very close to what you carry. In this case, quite some time ago, I bought this. A beautiful gymnasium-style saber. I've spoken to about it. I love the draw. It is not the highest quality on the inside, the fit and finish. It has some parts to be, to be improved, but it allows me to train from the draw. These have exactly the same grip, exactly the same weight, but unlike many of the other trainers, the point of balance is where it should be, a little more than a hand's width out from the blade. Do you see that? Now, I need to pop it just, let's see, needs a little bit more blade. But look at this. Now, longtime fencers will know this is a wonderful balance. What this gives you, let me see if I can get enough room to show you. It naturally, I have to move it. A television came my way. Anyway, it naturally, even in this uncomfortable position, the tip floats nicely. The parries are smooth. I can't express to you how balanced this feels. It's basically a small sword analog, and little bit of small sword, a little bit of saber. If this holds up, this is going to be the best trainer I've seen in years. This may actually angle out my preferred couplets. Now, if they would make one and put an extra quillion here, widen the guard just a touch, let me have a keyhole, you would see this fat man dance a jig. But as is, I think these are going to be great and wonderful beginning trainers. I think these are going to be beautiful swords to work with. They're very, very forgiving, both on the chop relative. I mean, you still feel it, but it's not nearly as bad as many of the other polypropylene weapons. There's still some measure of flex, especially near the end, on that axis. It will, like I said, it will be interesting to see how they retain their ability to reset. There's a distinct word I'm looking for, and it's not coming to me. But if you're looking to get into what we do, and you want to get into it cheap, assuming these pass some rigorous testing, these are marvelous. Marvelous enough, I'll probably, in the very near future, order like a second set, so I have at least 4 of them. And then I will share the link. I had planned to put the link in the description but I can put it up on the Historical Fencing Guild Facebook, the public Facebook group, because especially like I know Trilaina is fully qualified to be a sword mistress. I have no qualms with her teaching anybody anything she wants to teach them. She's just that good. But having the equipment can be a burden, and acquiring it can be a burden. These are going to cover that so well. They are light. They are agile. They are. I wish I had a digital scale. I need to get a digital scale. They are easily between 3/4 and half the weight of the sabers I use, the wolf head sabers that I use for my daily drills. In fact, I use those at night. I am starting to use these for my morning set of drills. I would like to get where I am doing 3 sets a day to get back into the kind of fighting trim I want to be in. It means rebuilding a lot of my gear from the ground up. It means doing a lot of things as I adjust. But this is a rare find if it holds up. And if it holds up, I will be using these for all manner of training things. I am genuinely excited. So there's that. They do not come with a sheath. That is the downside. But if I can get 2 swords for the price of 1 with a sheath, unless I am expressly training from the sheath, I can't. I can't turn this down. I simply can't. I'm still avoiding the metal swords for maintenance, for cost, and for time, because I will be revisiting the application of metal rapier type objects, possibly foils, possibly practical rapiers. I have to see what my budget can allow after I get my forge going, because if I can get my forge going, I can bang out riggings. And if I could start banging out nice riggings, like something akin to, and I told you I'd find it, these guys, this, which is the original crossguard from my original fencing sword that was replaced by a brass one done by John Miner. It is why I want to, this is a huge part of why I want to learn blacksmithing and why I want to learn to weld. Because as you can see how this is constructed, I'm pretty sure that was done with a stick welding and not forge welded, just because of how well they got the rounded off here. But I don't know. It's a really fascinating piece. However, this addresses several major concerns, and I need to speak to this because of late I have caught some flack. We'll say semi-creative criticism, semi-constructive criticism, that is, about my tendencies not to buy the more expensive gear and review the more expensive gear. It's like, I am always looking for bargain basement gear. I'm always looking for as cheap as I can get it. And I'm always looking for as accessible as I can get it. Now, many of the people I work with, you have to remember my primary goal here. If it was about me joining a club or even running a school as a inward focused activity, behold, whatever, it would be one thing. But I am attempting to both here and, if possible, abroad, facilitate the training of people with disabilities, people, women, people of smaller sizes, simply short people. Basically, the students that my original instructor would have passed over as not being worth their time. Those are who I target. And unfortunately, another barrier to entry to what we do, one of the biggest barriers to entry, is cost, especially now. Now, there are ways to do homemade trainers, and videos are coming. But for off the rack, if these hold up, this is going to be the best deal I've seen. I would love to see them use this blade profile and different hilts. Different, essentially, riggings. I'm going to be comprising a letter with images, with measurements and things, and just reaching out to them going, please, add a little bit of quillion, add a better guard, more hand protection, a little bit of quillion on either side, and then make daggers. Because the other thing is this, and I know how to explain this in ways that at least long-standing students will understand. This is finally a perfect mate for the cold steel parry dagger trainer. Finally, it exists. The hexagonal bladed rapiers are great. I am not bashing them per se. They are a wonderful product. But this is half the price. This is 2 for 1. I can let go of the fact that the guard is a little smaller than I would like. I can let go that it's only right-handed. I see the flaws. That it's molded in a very specific way. I'm pretty sure this is essentially a full tang. The blade slides in and is adhered. So like they have epoxy or something holding inside because of the way the edge is. So let me see if I can get the lighting to do what it needs to do for you. Okay, hold on. Hi, I'm going to show you guys how this works. Hello, Dave! But, okay, you can now see. Excellent. There's the angle. As you can see, there is that faint line, that faint crack that indicates that there was space between the blade and the rigging. So I would postulate that the blade is slid down, and either they have some kind of mechanical locking mechanism, like one-way hooks that flex, although I wouldn't expect it, or just something like high-quality adhesive. But it is mated into there. If that is the case, this style of blade could then become a standard, and they could put different riggings on it. I would go to great lengths, if this holds up the way I want, to do that. So any of my locals, that'd be Jim, if he sees this, that'd be Trey and Joey, Grim. Yeah, Grim, I'm looking at you, kiddo. Jade, if you're watching, Max, if you're watching, these are it. If they hold up. But the only way I'll know if they hold up is if I can field test them. So I will have to be field testing them very soon. I also have to do some business concerning my masks, which is why I'm holding up purchasing these, because the mask I ordered fit me when my hair was long. And I don't know if it will fit me with the less hair. I may have to further pad it. Which may not be a bad thing, considering I'm back in the saddle, so to speak. I've also been ordered to have much better forearm and arm protection than I used to, Not because it's necessitated by what we do, but it's necessitated in the act of training new people. And that's part of why I've always been so dedicated and so focused on let me train them first. Let me work with people first. A big part of it is I'm very good at assessing people. So you need to wig. Yes, I could wig up. But Johnny, they're light and elegant and vaguely vampiric, and it's so good to see you, Johnny. And they're cheap. It's beautiful. Because I've never understood why the trainers have to be so heavy. Now, I train with heavier trainers. Not my heaviest. I have some absolute beasts. But, again, target audience. This is something that will not scare off a young lady who's lost a lot of her agency and is trying to get it back, which is a huge amount of my students, proportionately. Or a young gentleman who has lost his agency, trigger warning, but, through either having endured sexual assault or having endured a suicide attempt. And that's the kind of people I get started. Now, sometimes I get people who don't have those problems, and it's wonderful. Sometimes I get people who aren't physically limited, and that's wonderful too. And I can very easily move them beyond to other things, point them to other organizations for a better challenge, especially as my health does what it does. Because there are realities that I must face in what I do and what I can do. That's why the summer is going to be so very important. This is sort of a make it or break it summer for me. I'm going to start training new people. I'm going to go back. I am back in training. Okay? Means I'm going to be adjusting my diet, more drills, more exercises, trying to fix the mental hang-ups, to work through the pain, work through the necessities, the weights that I must carry. And I have been, because of my responsibilities, for a time distracted and pulled away from a lot of this. And it was not through any lack of passion nor any lack of desire to be doing this. It was simply I was needed in other roles. In some cases, parental, in some cases, heavy counseling, in some cases, the role of being a patient. And being able to have something that's only a few ounces. I'm giddy. It's almost cheap enough that I'd be willing to try to break one, break the rigging and make my own outer rigging and connect it somehow. It's very tempting because, as you guys usually know, I am not a big fan of the bulge belly in my trainers. Never have been. I can see the benefit, especially if you're using the modified saber grip to get that extra chop, but it's not necessarily where I like to live. And that's okay too. As long as it's not structurally too weakened, there's a lot that can happen. And being able to do that is what matters. So here's the situation. I want to talk numbers for you guys. This is slightly out of date. And I understand that. I'd have to reevaluate. But when I see something like the beautiful LK Chen trainers, or the beautiful, oh god, some of the stuff South Coast Swords is bringing over from Black Fencer. They are truly gorgeous. They're lifesteal swords my heart weeps to own. But when I see something like $400, with $400, I could fairly easily outfit four people, 3 to 4 people, easy. More so if I can tap into resources I have outside of that. So when I see, it's like, okay, 4 times 5 is 8. Wait, no, is 80. Wow, why did my brain do that? It's 20. 4 times 5 is 20. So $250. So I'm dyslexic and dyscalculic. Numbers and letters float around in my head. Concepts float around. It means things. But $250 is enough for me to get 10 swords, which means I could have 10 students working through with these. That's why my priority is the way it is. Now, I know many of you are individuals who are training yourselves, and you're using various different systems, which is wonderful. And if you have that ability to take care of yourself and put yourself front and center, it's amazing. But if you're looking at it from helping people who may not have the funds to do it themselves. Is there a cat back there? Huh, I thought I heard a cat. Anyway, getting access to things like this can change everything. It means I can put a decent training sword in somebody's hand and they can go. I could get loaner masks. Masks, I could get cheap masks between 50 and 75. Okay? So if I take this at 25, 75 gives you 100. So you've mask and a weapon for $100. I would still want a little extra. I'd want some plastrons. I'd want gloves, things like that. Hopefully a jacket eventually. But it's enough to get people basically started. It's a groundwork. And that is what I've been longing for. And finding this after having to see the fact that a plexiglass rapier trainer is happening as history repeats itself. Yeah, I weep for the days that $400 training swords were the high end of prices instead of being the median. Absolutely, Santahana. Absolutely. When I spent 12 years SCA. I don't think I know you. So, and then I got out and I continued. I've been teaching people for 25 years out, from inside the SCA and separate so that I could branch out to other groups. Amp Guard, Canarak. I've worked with collegiate fencers, you name it. Finding the gear that can be afforded is one of my great passions. Oh, off in the woods. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, YouTube has done that, so it means some people's handles are a little strange to me. But yeah, these guys, between these guys and the cup hilt rapiers, there's also another cup hilt style rapier out there that I am watching. But my problem is, if these guys work as well as they do, it might become viable. And I say might because I have to figure out how to get past the tip. Hush, y'all. To just make a cup guard that goes over this with minimal modification. Might have to either heat and bend this down or just simply remove it. Put a bell on there, and then with the added reinforcement of the bell, I could possibly run a quillion through. I'm working on redesigning this, much like the original small sword I converted a Jin to, which I have to repair. Basically, I have to set up a crafting bench and do a lot of things. But these are the kind of things that I could almost afford to give out, theoretically. And I will. I mean, you guys know me. You know, if people practice and work and they genuinely can't afford one, which $25, I figure if people pool together, they can do their own orders and, whatever, or I can do it for them. Unfortunately, Prime doesn't affect it. But it gets us back to where we should be going. You know what I'm saying? And that is a type of hope amid everything that's going on right now I did not expect to have. So I may have to just bite the bullet and order a few of these ahead of other weapon styles that are out, because I mean, these are price-wise comparable to the cold steel swords, which are just chunks. You know what I'm saying? Just becomes a matter of seeing what we can do and what serves my community. Which, you please share my videos around, guys. Let me put. I want to do something here. Let's see. If I go here, hold on. Why are you being? I don't have an affiliate, Amazon affiliate link. I would love to. I just need to check something. If I go here and I go paste, and I go enter. Yes, it works. So I can give you guys all the link to these. So it should show up in the chat wherever you are. Like I said, I don't know. These are amazing. Now, on to the next side of things I want to talk about. Unfortunately, the cost of armor has gone up, and frankly, the reliability of so-called big names keeps coming into question. So I do not, with the way many of these factory-produced jackets have been failing at left, right, and center, I really think it might be better to take a page from the SCA and start sewing our own, for those of us who have capacity to sew. I have bought a very inexpensive one. You've seen it. It's the brown one. It's kind of pretty, but I'm debating having Mandy take a pattern off of that and make me something of a more breathable fabric. I'm not sure how that would go, but I'm also considering going down to a local hardware store and simply purchasing the HDPE in like 1/8, 4x8 massive roll of the stuff, sheet of the stuff. I see it come in black and white, and just start making the gear for the guild who needs it. It's going to take some, experimentation. It's going to take a lot of trial and error to get where I need to go. But if I can get it where I can get basic articulation down using that material, it would be much lighter, still give decent protection for what we're doing. It's about half the thickness of blue barrel plastic. So we'll have to see. And I genuinely would like input from all my viewers, and it will be going to my Patreon members too. On what you guys think of that. And if that's something you guys want to see. Because then I will take the money I'm saving up and I will just go down and buy a sheet of HDPE as cheap as I can get it. And we'll work with that. If I can find aluminum sources cheaper, I'll run with some aluminum. But right now, what we need is the most inexpensive, easy to work with materials so that I can basically bulk design body armor and things. And if I can find stuff that I can craft, even if my mobility continues to deteriorate, close enough. The speech impediment gets me. My usefulness, both in not only in my assessment and instruction, but in being able to craft and instruct, will still be intact. So that is where I am looking. I have to derust the new forge and get a blower for it. I have 2 now of the new ones, and I have one little guy who's going to be attached to a framework so that I can crank it up and use it at a height where I can move the hot material comfortably to an anvil and back. Eventually, I may make a version where I can do that sitting down if I need to. That's just the worst case scenario training, because I've spent 25 years helping everyone else adapt. It's only fair that I get to help myself adapt as needed. I may have got slightly dehydrated in my travels today. So I am working towards that. Does anyone have any questions? Are there any comments or anything you have concerns with as we continue the evening? Because, like I said, this is going to be, if it works as well as it feels, this will be the new standard. I also think that these will fight very well against the existing cup hilt rapiers I have. So I can have a mixed lot of trainers without needing to fully commit to any single type, to allow more flexibility of style. But with something like this, I can't deny the wonderful practical use of it. So I will take that. And I've got one coming in. Okay, yeah. I will be probably either using Plastidip or something similar to mark the blades to make them easier for you guys to see. I may just use a piece of electrical tape like before. It does add a surprising amount of weight, but especially for the camera to be able to record it, because these are a surprisingly matte black. I want you guys to be able to see everything that goes on. So yes, I will be going on that. Yeah, and to the question about my gear, in my adventures today, I actually at least found the lower portion of a heat gear suit in triple X, 3X, because I am currently a chunky monkey. As heat is so dangerous to me medically, because for those of you who missed that, several of the medicines that I have to be on for survival are what are called heat death medicines, which means I have to be very careful around excessive amounts of heat and light. So having something like that as a base layer will be ungodly helpful if you guys understand the need for that. Now, let me look. I'm sorry. It's not too bad yet. Okay. Sorry, we have some storms coming in, and I do not want my broadcast to get knocked off the air. But let me see. I need to do. Okay. Take this. Go all the way up. All departments. I want to find. Need to fix something. Sorry. What? No. Stop that. Anyway, I'm trying to do searches here. But I have holidays coming up, so I can't risk. There are things that I can't let you guys know I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. That should be everything that I've been perusing for the different presents and things. Okay, cool. So I go polypropylene because I want to see polypropylene weapons. There we go. The chief competition to these guys, I have to scroll down and see, are these guys. Okay. And I'm not seeing the new rapier. So let me bring that back up. We'll just do this. And I do love these guys. They have a similar tip. They have an octagonal grip. They have a beautiful cup hilt, which is why I knew it could be done. But they're $50 a piece. And they may be slightly longer. I'm not sure. But with slightly less guard, I can get 2 for $50. You'll understand why I am focusing on this. I do need to know, for the folks who have specific requests, are there any of these trainers that you guys eagerly want me to review? Because honestly, I was going to bring up the new cup hilt rapiers I saw, and I am not seeing them. So what I'm going to do is come up here and go polypropylene swords and sort by newest arrivals and see if I can't find them, because there are several. That's interesting to me, because I had considered buying the other kind till I saw these, and it seems like the other kind just vanished. Always intriguing. Okay. That is fascinating to me. So, we've been able to look side by side on what we have coming on. Later videos, we're going to review the inexpensive armor. We're going to talk about training, especially with these guys. And I'm going to repeat myself a lot. And the reason I repeat myself is it's stuff you guys need to know. I will be, like I said, I will be shooting a full review video after I've had some time sparring with these and sparring against them with, some qualified or at least semi-qualified opponents. I want to see how they hold up. But if I can help put more swords in more people's hands, I'm going to do it. Seems like everybody's gone pretty quiet, which is fine. I've talked about what I wanted to talk about for this part. I need to do some more review on the armor for other people and do some planned recordings. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it right here. It really, before I leave though, it really is something I consider an honor to be able to do. It is something I really, really consider a privilege, both to work with the people that I get to locally and to work digitally with you wonderful people. It's not easy, and it's not something that I can coast. There's always work to it. There's always pain. But it's one of the finest things I have the privilege to do in my life. And one of my proudest. So guys, please do your drills, okay? Keep your guard up and your eyes open. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I'll be back next week with a lot more because I will have some time behind these bad boys. Possibly clips. I'm still trying to get the system to let me do that. So I have a lot to learn to keep that going. However, it is a great time. It is a great time, believe it or not, to train. It is a great time to help each other. In days of despair, we have to become the heroes that we wish had been there to save us last time. We have to rise above our mortal limitations, except Johnny, because Johnny's an immortal vampire. We all know this. And become something better. I have had the privilege of seeing a great many people do that. I know a great many people who watch this, and you are doing that as well. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of that journey. Toodles, folks.